In 1947, a copywriter named Frances Gerety sat at her desk at NWR in Philadelphia, working late on a campaign for a South African mining company called De Beers. She wrote 4 words on a piece of paper: "A diamond is forever." Before that sentence, diamond engagement rings were not a tradition. In 1939, only 10% of American engagement rings contained a diamond. By 1990, 80% did. Frances Gerety didn't discover a tradition. She invented one. She convinced the entire Western world that a piece of carbon compressed over 1 to 3 billion years was the only acceptable proof that a man loved a woman enough to marry her. Advertising Age later named it the greatest advertising slogan of the 20th century. Frances Gerety herself never married. She died in 1999, alone at the age of 83. That rock in the jewelry store window has passed through 7 pairs of hands to get there. Each hand took a cut. Each hand added a story. The stone didn't change. Not once. Only the story changed. And the zeros on the price tag, from $100 to $20,000. Same stone. 7 hands. 19,900%. Let's print the receipt. Rank 1. The artisanal digger. The gambler. You are 16 years old. Maybe younger. Nobody has checked, and nobody will. You live in Kono District, Sierra Leone, or the Kasai region of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the diamonds are close to the surface and the labor is cheaper than the fuel it would take to run a machine. You are an artisanal diamond miner. You don't have a salary. You don't have a contract. You have a shovel, a wire sieve, and hands already calloused from 2 years of this. You stand waist deep in a river, moving tons of gravel by hand, sifting for a sparkle the size of a grain of rice in a pile of mud the size of a car. You're not an employee. You're a gambler, a local supporter, a businessman from the nearest town. Sponsors your work. He buys you rice. He buys you a sieve. If you find nothing, you eat nothing. You can go 3 weeks without finding a stone. The river doesn't care. If you find a stone, you sell it to him. He sets the price. He looks at the rough diamond and says, $50. The stone might be worth $5,000 after it's cut and polished. You don't know the difference. You don't have a gemologist's loop. You don't have leverage. You have hunger and a shovel and a supporter who is the only buyer within walking distance. Your risks are elemental. Landslides that bury miners alive. The pit walls are unsupported earth, and when it rains, they collapse. Malaria from standing in stagnant water 12 hours a day. Silicosis from breathing rock dust until your lungs harden into something that can no longer hold enough air. Or violence. In conflict zones, armed groups control the mines if they suspect you've hidden a stone. And in the diamond fields, the fear of hidden stones is a constant paranoia. They may cut you open to check. This is not a metaphor. This is documented. This has happened to children. You find a rough stone, 3 carats, cloudy, promising. It changes your week, maybe your month. It does not change your life. You sell it for $100. Rank 2, the middleman. The runner. You are the middleman. The runner. You have a motorbike and a portable scale strapped to your chest under your shirt because the scale is worth more than the bike. You buy stones from diggers in the bush and carry them to the nearest city, where the average annual income is $500. You make $5,000 to $15,000. You eat twice a day. Your children go to school. You own a phone. Your entire business model is one word: asymmetry. You know the digger is desperate. You know the exporter in the city is greedy. You live in the gap between their ignorance and his impatience. Your risk is robbery. You carry cash going out and stones coming back. You don't carry a gun. Guns attract the army, and the army takes everything. You carry a bribe instead, a folded note tucked into your ID card. If soldiers stop you on a dirt road at dusk, you give them everything and walk home. The stone you bought for $100, you sell to the licensed exporter in Freetown for $400. You've quadrupled the price. The stone has not changed, not one molecule. Rank 3, the exporter, the launderer. You are the exporter, the gatekeeper between Africa and Antwerp. You make $200,000 to $500,000 a year. Your office has air conditioning. Your children attend school in London. Your job is to turn rough stones into a legal export. This requires one document: a Kimberley Process Certificate established in 2003 to prevent conflict diamonds. It certifies that a shipment is conflict-free on paper. In practice, the system has been called a failure by its own former chair, Ian Smiley. who resigned in protest. Stones from rebel-controlled mines are mixed into the same parcel. Origins are falsified. A bag from a war zone is relabeled as originating from a peaceful district. An estimated 5 to 15% of diamonds on the global market may still qualify as conflict diamonds, despite carrying Kimberley Process certification. In 2011, Global Witness, one of the organizations that helped create the Kimberley Process, publicly withdrew its support, calling the system an accomplice to the trade in blood diamonds. You seal the stones. You attach the certificate. You ship the parcel to Antwerp via a diamond courier, a man in a plain suit on a commercial flight, millions of dollars in stones in a briefcase handcuffed to his wrist. The paper says clean. The stones say nothing. You sell the parcel for $2,000. Rank 4, the cutter. The invisible artist. Welcome to Surat. 90% of all diamonds on Earth are cut and polished here. Not New York, not Antwerp, a city in Western India that most diamond buyers have never heard of and will never visit. You are a diamond cutter. You sit shoulder to shoulder with 500 other men, hunched over grinding wheels, spinning at 3,000 RPM, coated in diamond dust. Because the only thing hard enough to cut a diamond is another diamond. The sound enters your skull and stays there until your hearing starts to deteriorate. You stop noticing both at the same time. Entry-level polishers earn $150 a month. You are among the most skilled manual laborers on Earth, and you earn less than a fast food worker in the country where the finished stones will be sold. You calculate the geometry of 57 facets, each angled to catch light, and throw it back through the top of the stone. The angle matters to a fraction of a degree. One slip, 1 degree off. And a stone worth $10,000 shatters into pieces, worth nothing. You pay for mistakes out of your wages. In 2024 and 25, over 150,000 diamond workers in Surat lost their jobs. Wages cut by 50%. Factories shut down. Entire neighborhoods went dark. In 18 months, at least 63 diamond workers died by suicide. Men who could no longer afford rent or school fees or the motorbike payment to get to a factory that no longer existed. The local press covered it. The international press did not. The stones these men cut still sell for thousands of dollars. The hands that cut them couldn't afford rice. Your stone is now worth $5,000 to $7,000. Rank 5, the sight holder, the inner circle. You are a sight holder. There are 69 of you in the world, down from 350 in the 1970s. You don't apply. You are selected. De Beers invites you to attend sites, 10 events per year in Gaborone, Botswana. You are presented with a pre-assembled box of rough diamonds. You don't choose what's in it. You don't negotiate the price. You look at the box. You look at the number. You pay, or you lose your seat. De Beers controls roughly 1/3 of the world's rough diamond supply. The minimum annual commitment to remain a sight holder, $15 million per year, whether the market is up or down. 15 million, or you're off the list. Your margins are razor thin. If the polished market drops 5%, which it does regularly, your inventory tanks. You are a buffer absorbing the shocks between the mine and the mall, so neither one feels the pain directly. That 1-carat stone moves for $8,000 to $10,000. Rank 6, the retail brand, the Storyteller. You are the brand. Tiffany, Cartier, the local jeweler who knows the ring is never about the ring. You don't sell rocks. You sell forever. You sell the myth Francis Garrity wrote on a scrap of paper in 1947. You set that $9,000 stone in $500 worth of platinum. You place it in a box. Blue if you're Tiffany, red if you're Cartier, and the box is part of the spell. The color, the weight, the ribbon, the sound it makes when it opens. You invented, De Beers invented, and you perpetuated the rule that an engagement ring should cost 2 months' salary. That was not tradition. That was an ad campaign from the 1980s. They made it up. The world accepted it as ancient custom. You price the ring at $15,000 to $25,000. The moment they walk out of your store, that ring loses 30 to 50% of its value. Not because the stone changed. Because the retail price was never based on the stone. It was based on the story. And stories depreciate the moment they leave the showroom. Your net margins, 40 to 60%. Better than almost any industry on Earth. Your product doesn't spoil, doesn't require electricity, sells itself as long as people keep falling in love, which, despite everything, they do. Rank 7, the invisible threat, the lab. There is a ghost haunting every rank on this list, in a laboratory in Surat, the same city where 150,000 cutters lost their jobs. A machine is doing in 2 weeks what took the Earth 1 to 3 billion years. It is growing a diamond. A lab-grown diamond is chemically, physically, and optically identical to a mined diamond. Same carbon lattice, same crystal structure, same hardness, same fire, same sparkle. A certified gemologist cannot tell the difference without specialized equipment that most jewelers don't own. It costs 70 to 80% less. In 2023, lab-grown diamonds were nearly 20% of the U.S. engagement ring market. The number is rising. De Beers, the company that built its empire on the idea that diamonds are rare and therefore precious, launched its own lab-grown line called Lightbox. They sell 1-carat stones for $800. The company that told the world a diamond is forever is now selling diamonds grown in a machine for the price of a dinner for 2. Every rank on this chain exists because of one belief, that a natural diamond is worth more than an artificial one. That belief is not a fact. It is a story, the most profitable story ever told. If the next generation looks at a lab-grown and a mined diamond side by side and says, "These are the same thing, why would I pay 20 times more?" the chain collapses from the top down. 150,000 workers in Surat already know which way the wind is blowing. The digger in Kono doesn't. He's still standing waist-deep in brown water, sifting for a rock that a machine in a lab can now produce before lunch. The total. Let's total the receipt. 1-carat diamond engagement ring. Digger, $100. Runner, $400. Exporter, $2,000. Cutter's wage for this stone, $15. Site holder, $9,000. Retailer, $20,000. Total markup from mud to maul, 19,900%. The stone on her finger is the same stone he pulled from the river. It was always the same stone. The only thing that was ever expensive was the story. And now a machine in a lab can grow the same stone in 2 weeks for $800. Diamonds aren't forever. The markup was. Next time, we trace a painting from a basement in Bushwick to a wooden crate in a Swiss vault. 7 hands touch it. The artist made $500. The last buyer paid $100 million. The painting has been seen by human eyes exactly 0 times since purchase. Subscribe. We print the receipt.